Cowgirl Kind is a beef tallow skincare business based on high quality, small batches made with care and intention. All ingredients are carefully and thoughtfully sourced for the highest quality. It is an incredibly effective product. Cowgirl Kind is locally owned and handmade by Melinda Kirkby. Visit cowgirlkind.com. At Arena Mindset, we are empowering athletes to transform their lives by cultivating grit, resilience, purpose, and authenticity. We believe the mind is an athlete's most powerful tool, and by overcoming the challenges of mental performance, they can build unshakable confidence and achieve success in every arena of life. For more information, you can find us at arenamindset.net or on our Facebook page.
So your total, how many years would you say you've been competing at Ring Cow Horse?
Let's see, 25.
25. How much have you seen the whole Ring Cow Horse world transform in 25 years? I mean, obviously the horses have changed, the training styles have changed. Like, to what extent have you noticed that change?
Well, I don't even know where you could start on that, but well, I take that back. I've been involved in the cow horse industry probably for 30 years, 25 on my own. You know, the first futurity I went to was in 2000 when Smart Zanalina won the futurity with Bob Avila. So that was about the time that, like, the reining styles were changing, you know.
Yeah.
Where you started to see the evolution that we now have. Mm-hmm. So I've kind of been along for that whole process, you know. Just bigger shows, you know, more shows, bigger shows. Horse flesh, you know, I think good horses are good horses, you know, great horses are great horses. It's hard for me to atone to that, you know, how much horses have changed. You know, I've done just as well on a lesser bred horse as I have on a better bred horse. You know, they're all individuals, and
Right.
that's what appeals to me about horses. It's, you know, not a bloodline, but just the horse itself as an individual.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's still going strong.
Yeah.
You know, it's growth every year. I mean, there's enough of these shows to go to if you want to go. I think it's outstanding. It's going strong.
For sure. For sure.
That's kind of a vague answer.
It's slightly, but we're going to expand. That's okay. So, like, you know, people talk a lot about the horses and how the breeding has changed and things like that. But do you feel like a lot of those horses, you know, let's say 20 years ago that were doing well, would probably be still competitive currently with the same type of treatment, the same ground, the same training, the same spa baths, and the same, like, things have gotten a lot more bougie for the show horses now. Yeah. Do you feel like those horses, I mean, if they had all that,
I bet they would
be, yeah.
Yeah, especially, you know, being trained with, you know, techniques and programs that people are using now, because it is different.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And, you know, just like them older guys said, they agree that back in their day, that a lot of those horses could still be competitive today.
Right.
Yep.
So, I mean, in your career path, can you think of like substantial ways that you've changed your training program throughout the years? Like, were there major aha moments in your program where you were like, and we're going to do it this way?
I can't tell you how many. Like, I just had one the other day. Yeah. You know?
Tell us about that one. It's recent. Well, you might remember it.
It's just very simple, you know, like, and it's nothing that you didn't know, or maybe it's just something you're going back to, you know, just to elevating one and getting them drove up in there more, and you know, maybe just realizing I've been a little lazy there for the last little bit, and it's things like that all throughout. I don't know how many times you think, oh, I got this figured out. And I guarantee I'm not alone. I've got this figured out. And then, the next day we're like, well, dang.
Maybe not. Back to
Maybe
the
not.
drawing board.
Yeah. So that's kind of the evolution,
Right.
for me.
Yeah.
Trial by error,
Yeah.
learn by watching.
Are there ways, like, I was just going to ask that, are there ways that you keep yourself fresh and avoid falling into that rut of same old, same old?
Well, the past year's kind of been really good just being at Jake's because I'm not by myself.
Right.
It's pretty good, pretty easy to sit at home every day and think, well, I got her going on. And then you go and get yourself around other people and like, well, that looks pretty good.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about something like that? So, having people, whether it's Jake or even Taylor, that works for Jake, Taylor Adams, super little hand.
She is a super hand and a
Yeah.
kind, sweet person. Like her a lot.
Them horses love her.
I bet they do love her.
Yeah.
Yes. She's got that vibe about her for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, kind of makes me nervous to leave someday.
Right.
Go back to being by myself and get sedentary, and having to find ways, still the videos, like the gut and horse training deal online.
Right.
It's a great outlet.
Do you ever just load up and go ride with other trainers?
Sometimes,
Yeah.
it used to be every now and then I'd load up and go ride with Jake, or go to Wade's, or I've been to Jim Spence's a few times.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and like Wade, he's been a very long-term friend for you, right? Wade Rainey.
yeah, we're kind of been cohorts of sorts for a few
Yeah.
years now.
A little mischievous sometimes, maybe.
Yeah, we've had our moments, of shenanigans and fun for sure. We used to travel quite a bit together, going to the World Show and things like that. So,
Well, I hear stories about the good old days in the Rain Cow Horse shows with crazy shenanigans,
Yeah.
drag racing in the Idaho Center, things like that.
yeah, there's that whole deal. That y'all know who you are. We don't need to say any names, but it's made it very difficult since then to get the arena open all night. So,
Yeah, still paying for that one.
yeah, I was the president of the IRCHA that year too, and I don't know what I was more upset about, the fact that they were doing it or that they didn't invite me. So, yeah,
I don't blame you. It sounds like fun.
yeah.
So for fun these days, you do a lot of jeeping and four-wheeling and things like that, correct?
Yeah, kind of, I've always had that streak to me. I mean, so even while I was in the early part of my career training horses, I was racing quads, and I mean, I was really into racing quads, motocross racing. But I heard somebody say you can't do both. I think Todd Crawford, I hear say you can't do both. I'm like, I guess you can. No, you can't.
Yeah.
So,
It's pretty hard to be that committed to
Well,
two hobbies.
yeah, it worked out good to, I think I got enough of it out of my system, and then the better horses started coming, so, get phase one out,
Right.
but then got introduced to the Jeep and the rock crawling deal, and I mean, that's my thing. If I'm not doing something horse related, I would rather be doing that,
Yeah.
We take a couple trips every year, week-long trips to Moab or somewhere else. The Moab's a once-a-year deal, and then we try to go somewhere for 3 or 4 days in the fall, just somewhere new, just buddies. So,
It sounds like you've had some interesting adventures with broken parts in Moab.
yeah,
Yeah.
in various places, yeah.
Yeah. Any particular fun stories to share on that one?
Well, probably The worst one was last fall. We went and did the Rubicon and the Fordyce Trail in the Tahoe area. And of course, the Rubicon's the toughest trail in America. No, it's not. It's a tough trail. But Fordyce is maybe one of the toughest trails. And we breezed through this thing like nobody's business. And we're like, we must be pretty cool, Because like, we weren't even sure, what is this? Is this a wind chill? Is this like, wow, we just drive up, we had no idea. Anyway, the last obstacle, it's kind of telling me no, and I tell it yes, and spit the rear drive shaft out, and like shot parts like 50 yards,
Oh, no.
It's kind of violent. I'm like, well, that's great. We're 80 miles from the truck still. So,
Are there other people with you? Or
yeah,
you
I had
guys...
2 buddies with me.
Okay,
So
good.
we winch up out of there and still have to get drugged for a while because it's kind of steep and front wheel drive, Doesn't work really great on a light Jeep,
Right.
Anyway, just the driving back to Carson City in front wheel drive with off the front drive shaft with death wobble, can't go over 40 mile an hour, like, yeah, it was an awesome time.
Was Carolyn with you for that one?
No, it's just the boys. Yeah. Yeah, I broke an axle in Moab on Cane Springs. You're not supposed to go there after a flash flood. Well, we do. Because why wouldn't you?
Because, yeah, rules, whatever.
Water crossings over your hood. And I had my nephew with me. Yeah, he's on the spectrum, and he just loves it when I make that noise. I'm, whoop. We're coming up out of this muddy creek crossing. I'm, whoop, bang. Oh. Hadn't even gotten to the tough part of the trail, And so the rest of the afternoon, it's squeak, bang, like wobbling, just limping on down through here. These obstacles and winching myself, but we got out, and my nephew had a great time. Nobody died.
Yeah, win-win then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you were racing quads?
Mm-hmm.
And like, so I don't know anything
I was
about quad racing.
a sponsored professional.
What?
Well,
look at you go.
Pro. We raced in the pro class,
Nice.
Yeah, but I did have some sponsors, and yeah, I mean, it's nothing to have. Probably had 23 grand in my last quad.
Holy cow.
There's a national rated, long travel this, big bore that.
Yeah.
Yeah, carbon fiber this,
Trying to save every ounce of weight and all that good
Yeah,
stuff.
more power.
More power, less weight. Yeah.
60 something horsepower in a 450 4-stroke 4-wheeler,
Wow.
Oh yeah.
That's a lot of motor for a 4-wheeler. So
Yep.
did you travel like in a circuit
Yeah,
of some
go
kind?
to Glen Helen, San Bernardino, California, Southern California, race there. Not in the pro class. No, not there. No, that's where the factory guys are racing,
Gotcha.
But no, I loved everything about it.
Yeah.
I love the works racing, the World Off-Road Championships, where they're hour-and-a-half motos of a lap through a motocross track and then out through desert and mountains, wherever you're at,
Wow.
And that's the kind of racing I really like, because once you got separated, it was you against the course. Mm-hmm. And that's where it took endurance. And I never trained, because, well, one, you can't afford to just ride that machine for practice,
Probably doesn't. Yeah, it's probably pretty expensive to operate, I would think.
Yeah,
Like,
they're expensive to repair, and the more you ride them, the more you got to work on them. But keep riding horses and being young, I was really fit, and I could just outpace everybody.
right.
And even in the beginning, like I probably didn't ride as good as some of them, but I was stronger, tougher, and then as my skills increased, then it was just even better.
So how many miles are those courses? I mean, I'm sure it varies some.
It varies, yeah.
Yeah.
Like a lap, 10, 12 miles probably.
And how many laps are we
Well,
talking?
for whatever you can do in an hour and a half.
Oh, it's a
Meaning
timed thing. Okay.
like an hour and a half plus a lap.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
Quite a bit then, I would assume.
Yeah.
Because how fast are you? I mean, like, what's a top speed? What are you?
Oh, you'd probably get up to 60
Oh, wow.
in spots, depending on,
Terrain and
65 your top speed maybe.
yeah.
Down
Fun.
to slow in spots for sure,
Yeah.
but probably average 30.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, it is so much fun. I miss it.
Do you?
I thought I'd be the 50-year-old guy that still out there hitting 100-foot triples and,
Foot triples, jeez.
yeah,
Now you're just going down the fence.
yeah. And I'm quite certain I still could, but I think now it's a little scary sounding to me. So
Right?
yeah,
I don't know that we heal as well as we once did
yeah,
anymore.
probably not.
Yeah. Did you have any major injuries through all
I
that?
broke a collarbone, broke some of the little side bones off my spine.
Oh,
Yeah. Or fractured them. I can't remember. That one was the painful one. The collarbone was no joke, but so it's a weekend race in Richland, Washington, and get wadded up and get back on my quad and ride to the first aid deal. And like, hey, can you tell me if this is broke? They laugh. We call that a janitor's break. Like, yeah, well, even the janitor can tell that one's broke. So. I'm like, I wasn't in the mood.
not finding it funny.
Now all of a sudden, I'm terrified because I can't work. I can't ride my horses.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, what are you dummy? Like, you shouldn't be doing this. You should be riding your horses. So go do whatever the hospital does, which is nothing. Put you in a sling.
Yeah, not much you can do for a collarbone.
And get home on Sunday night, and Monday morning, I'm out there in the round pen, like, whoa.
Oh, no. I can't even imagine the bouncing, like
Yeah.
any kind of trot or.
Oh, it was terrible. Yeah, but I felt like you play, you pay.
Yeah.
But it makes you be real gentle to them, real nice.
Oh, I bet it does. I'll be nice to you if you're nice to me.
And then I raced again the next weekend.
With a broken collarbone?
Yeah. In Caldwell. At the
How old are you when you're making these decisions?
30, probably 32, 34. I don't remember, but yeah. It's just hard to stay off of them, when you got addicted to it. So.
Yeah. I mean, you see a lot with horses too. People riding around with broken foot or broken hand or whatever.
Yep.
So have you been hurt worse by four-wheelers or horses?
Four-wheelers.
Yeah.
I haven't had very many. I've broken cracked ribs quite a few times, and never from like a bucking horse ride or something flipping over on me. It's just the horses falling and, doing their jobs and stumbling and, never really been hurt in a malicious way.
Right. What's,
From a wreck,
with the number of years you've been doing it, that's
Yep.
a good sign, I
Yeah.
would say. Sounds like you do know how to pick your battles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find myself here, especially recently, there's seemed like there's been a rash of injuries and
Man, it's been crazy lately, hasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, maybe you should probably be careful too.
It made me think a little bit about it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's just tons of people with broken feet and hands and ribs and all kinds of stuff lately.
Yeah, horses falling on me has kind of been my nemesis,
Yeah.
I don't know how many times. Just be loping along and
Really?
I've lost count.
Really?
Yes.
Like going down the fence or just a variety of things?
No, that seems safe to me. It seems like more dangerous sometimes just be loping around at home and wind up in a pile.
I did have it happen once. I was loping, I mean, it's just slow pony loping, working on collection, like nothing's happening. And he stumbled and rolled all the way over me. And I was like, really? This is how we're going to do this?
I didn't even know it was a thing. I was at Hooker Creek and I'm loping Matt Dillon Dunnett, the horse that maybe some people have heard of. And not a care in the world. And next thing I know, I'm laying over here, he's laying over there, and we're looking at each other like, what in the world just happened,
How did we get here?
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of what my poor little horse was doing too. He had dirt up his nose and down his ear. Yeah.
Yep.
You never had any bad wrecks going down the fence or
No,
anything? though?
well, I did have a good one about 2010, pink nitroglycerin. I just marked my first 75 down the fence in Montana
Nice.
the weekend or two before. And I tell you, I was there to win. And this cow takes us down the wrong side of the pen there. And that's okay. I just marked 75. I'll just run up there and turn this thing. Well, kind of get stuck and at a high rate of speed, and cow takes her front legs away from her.
Oh no.
And like it's still circulating around in slow motion, just this, we're okay, we're going to be okay. Like, no, we're not.
Nope.
I mean, it's ripped my shirt out from hitting like this. It just
Just rip the whole chest of your shirt out?
from impacting the ground,
Holy cow.
And then she rolls over the top and that saddle horn just misses me and off she goes. Same year that Kaylee Wilson broke his ankle there at the fall show.
Jeez.
A cow hitting him in the ankle.
Like during the fence turn or
Circling, maybe?
circling?
Somewhere back there. Anyway, they showed my video to raise some money for him. I think that's what they did. Like, you can come watch it for $1, something like that.
Oh, that's like a fundraiser. Come watch Jeremy's wreck and donate
Yeah. So, of course, I lay there and there's a, slew of people and like Russell Dilday's like that. And like, that's not the universal sign for he's okay,
No, that's like, this isn't good.
Yeah. I had some people at home thinking I was dead, And Dan, he's out there, Rozier, and he gets me up and we're walking back and he's like, we got to talk about this one. He's like, there's gung ho and then there's that,
There's gung ho and there's death.
There's that.
Well, you missed death by this far.
And I was just like, well, dang it, Dan, I wanted to win, Trying to win. Trying to win that limited open derby.
Well, that's probably a good guy to get some advice from, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I never turn it down.
No. So, tell me about your mule skinning days.
Oh, good Lord. Old Brays Starlight.
Oh, Brays Starlight. That's the best name ever. So I ride Starlight's Remington, so I died when I saw that mule's name. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Ned Beatty. I can't remember this guy's name exactly. Can't remember his first name anyway, but he brings me this mule and had quite a bit of horse in it, Looked a lot like a horse. And I'd had a running off problem, I guess, like even from the ground. And no, I think I found that out the hard way. Nobody told me that. So the first 3 days, I think I am the mule whisperer. Like, I was working a cow on it, I was not having a lick of trouble. And I just bebop out there to go untie him, lead him off, and got me on that gravel and got the angle on me and started dragging me across the parking lot.
Oh, no.
Burnt my hands.
Oh, man, I hate that.
Then it was on, like I tried contraptions, of like a sideline, and it worked the first time, and then he won't do it, until you take all that stuff off.
Smart mule.
In there in the indoor, in Larry's little small indoor, and he got away there, and I'm like, of course he's running faster than I can run, so I'm down. And I'm like, I'm still going to be here
like
when you get done. Yeah, like 4 or 5 laps around that indoor, and I'm just, you sucker, I'm still going to be here.
I ain't letting go for nothing.
Yeah, probably one of the worst, like, horseback runaways ever on that thing. And just riding back from the cutting pen one day, and I mean, sells out.
Wow.
And it's gravel, and there's a lot of it, and it's slick, and there's a lower arena from where the stall barn was with the big bank, and he just bails off this thing. And I'm like, I had enough time in the air, like, statistically, mules are very sure-footed.
I should be okay.
I sure hope this is one of those mules that is statistically correct, And of course he lands and recovers and back up he goes, and we had a bunch of shed row pins out there. It was like 12-foot alleys. And I my pet peeve is open gates. And I could never get people to shut their gates. And I come around there, zinging through there and banging into the gates that
Oh,
were open
no.
and like jumping over the arena groomer.
Oh, that could have been bad.
You know, it seems like it went on for a day or two, but that was, I did ride him a little bit more, and I just said, yeah, you should probably just come get him, you know, and pack him, do whatever
kidding.
you originally wanted to. And
Was he okay as a pack animal? Like he didn't do that when he was just being packed?
no, he shot him.
Oh, I was going to say, like,
He got mad at a hunting trip apparently, and his saying for everything was "old buddy." Oh, and he just dropped old Brays Starlight right there with the
yeah. Oh, I was going
back
to say,
saddle
like,
and everything.
I can't imagine, like, trusting him to haul you into the wilderness and then him running off with all your gear.
No.
Like,
Yeah. I don't know really the background on why that mule was that way, but
that's crazy.
yeah, he was not very honest.
No, it doesnn't sound like it.
No.
It sounds like he was pretty dang smart. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, probably smarter than me.
Probably smarter than most of us.
Yeah.
Did you ever do another mule after that?
No.
Or no? Yeah.
No, I'm not a mule guy.
I'm not much of a mule person either. We've had quite a few. We actually have a couple right now at home, and they're not my favorite thing. They never forget anything.
Yep.
Ever. They will never forgive you. We had one that was colicking, and I needed to get her Banamine, and she was so dehydrated I couldn't get the vein, so I was just going to shoot it in her mouth so I could get it to her, right? Mm-hmm. And once I had that day with her, I couldn't touch her again for like 8 months.
Yeah.
Like she wouldn't let me anywhere near her.
Huh.
Yeah. I was trying to save your life. Next time you
Yeah. I have a lot of respect for people that can train them.
They're tough.
Yep.
They're really tough. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tim Phillips, I think he's still doing it around our area. Boy, he gets in the rain and he could rope on them, you know, slide, spin, and makes you wonder why.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Although, have you worked any burros?
No.
So I've gotten the opportunity to like work them in the herd
yeah.
and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
They're athletic little buggers. So maybe there's some athletic mule out there. I don't know.
I don't know. You see them doing their rock crawling, rock climbing,
Yeah.
cliff sliding, you know. Mm-hmm. No, I bet a good mule in a mule environment would be a lot of fun to ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've just never been in that environment, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, our environment gets pretty small.
Yeah, that's true. We get pretty focused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by 27 Equine Marketing, the Northwest's premier equine photography and videography company, specializing in conformation and black background photos, as well as quality show reels and sell videos. For premium content, contact us to highlight your equestrian program. 27 Productions, creating digital content for the Western world. From music videos to Western wear and product promotion, we create engaging materials that connect with your audience.
So, on that note, I always like to kind of go over some non-pro advice. So, if you were to give a non-pro competitor one piece of advice on show day, what would
On
it be?
show day,
On show day. We can talk outside of the show pen too, but
to just turn your head off and quit worrying about everything that can go wrong and focus on the things that can go right. You know, because you can come up with a list of excuses. Just, I can't. Mm-hmm. You know, I haven't worked a cow in a little bit. I haven't done this, haven't done that. Doesn't matter. Today, that does not matter.
right.
You know, I have to know to go do my job. Non-pro, hopefully you spend enough time together that you know what your job is. Go focus on your job. Put your horse in position. Really pay attention to where you're looking. And just have fun, you know?
Yeah.
That's kind of one of the most disappointing parts is, the kind of jealous of non-pros because you're the only person you have to please, you know,
Yeah.
and you're basically writing for yourself, which can be difficult. I know.
Oh,
It's
yeah. I mean,
hard to please ourselves.
it is for sure, but you make a valid point. Like, I can't imagine knowing that I have owners that have paid the fees and paid the training bill and all that stuff, and whether it was right or error or not, feeling very accountable to that.
Yep.
I'm sure that's a heavy weight.
It is. Yeah. It's great when it goes good, but it doesn't always go just right.
Well, odds are it's not going to go just right the majority of the time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of entries, and there's always cows, which are the great variable.
A lot of variables.
And yeah, and subjective judging. I mean, as great as our judges are, it still is a subjective sport. There's no timer. So yeah, I mean, no matter how hard you tried, things might not line up that day.
Yeah. I think, being competitive, it's a must. You got to have it. I think but you got to be able to keep it in check too. Reel it in a little bit,
Right. For sure.
I think if you let that be the win all, lose all, it's kind of wind up being a miserable experience,
Oh man. Yeah. That whole, like, you've got 15 seconds when you come out of the show pen to be upset if you want to be upset. Rule is pretty good to live by.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard though.
And
Sometimes.
everybody deals with that,
Yeah.
some better than others.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Honestly, I think it's a skill too that you have to work on, because
It's a learned behavior.
yeah, for sure. I think at the beginning it's easy because you don't have high expectations, and then there comes a point where your expectations increase and it becomes harder, and then you have to retrain yourself to not do that to yourself.
Yeah. Obviously wisdom says, before you do anything, go look at your score sheet, go watch your video. And then more often than not, it makes sense. Like, well, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
That didn't look very good.
Yeah. Or that actually looks better than it felt.
Which is usually the case, right? Yeah.
Sometimes. I mean, I'm not gonna say every time, but sometimes you're like, oh, I didn't. Oops. Yep,
Always
I
looks
made a
better
mistake.
than it feels.
That's the truth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, what would be your advice to non-pros outside of the show pen?
Well, just prioritizing, and I cannot think of this word that I want to say. It has completely slipped my mind,
It happens.
and it's like one of my go-to words, Well, I mean, it's kind of generic, but I want them to have fun. I want it to be a good experience, but I also want to put in the work ethic too. Somehow blending the two together, where it's not always fun for us as trainers. If you're not careful, it cannot be fun.
Right.
But it's a realistic world we live in, so it's not always going to be. You can't make it be that way.
Right.
So that's kind of is my focus when I have multiple non-pros, is to try to make it that way. People that are maybe getting into this, buy the best horse you can.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
That will get you further quicker. It's very hard to teach a horse and somebody at the same time. Get the been there, done that horse that's going to show you how.
Yeah.
Horses still teach me stuff all the time. You know, anytime I've gotten on a horse from somebody else's program, let's say Judge Boone, for instance, John Rozier had been showing him, and John Rozier made him the fence horse that he became. And so my turn comes to ride him, to show him. And the first time I go down the fence, I'm almost nervous, you know? It's like, all right, show me. And he did, you know, and I was really surprised at the way it felt, you know?
Yeah.
It felt good, but it felt like, whoa, okay, this is what they mean by get there. You know?
Right.
Get to that spot. Just the intensity that horse had and the desire to do it, you know, because I didn't say he still is a fence horse.
Yeah. I mean, he still is having
He's
success in the show pen.
Still doing it.
Yeah.
Old booger. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Well, all good advice. It's, you know, sometimes I've been guilty of that exact thing of getting the horse that doesn't know and trying to learn and teach at the same time. And that's definitely not the easiest way to do it by far. I always say if you were going to take flight lessons, you wouldn't pick an instructor that doesn't know how to fly an airplane, right? So
Yeah.
what we're doing is dangerous and fast, and so it's probably wise to have not only a coach but a horse that can help you learn.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. You know, everybody's finances are different, obviously, but it all kind of costs the same, seems like.
Yeah.
You know,
It's expensive. This is not something you do because you want to save money.
No. I mean, you buy the finished product, or you get the younger horse, and you know, the payment plan, the pay as you go, and but it all kind of costs the same, seems like.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody likes the idea of a prospect, but
Yeah, but people getting into it, definitely go get the one that's been there, done that.
yeah.
You know, it'll save you money,
And frustration.
frustration. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Agreed. So, tell us a little bit about your non-pro program.
Well, it's kind of on hiatus right now. I had quite a few non-pros there for quite a few years, but now not having my own facility, you know, being at Jake, it's just not really conducive. But Jake's place is a very busy place, and there's only so many hours in the day, so I've kind of got that on hold right now.
Yeah.
And you know, to be determined when we're going at home and I have the opportunity to provide that service. But definitely something that I'm going to get back into when the time's right.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to take a lesson from you as well as watched you coach your non-pros, and you're an excellent coach. So
Thank you.
love to see that kicking off for you again.
Yeah, I'm always at a horse show. I'm willing to help anybody at any time. You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
I actually enjoy helping the non-pros at the shows, and it feels pretty good when you see somebody struggling and you look around and I don't see anybody, you know, helping that. And it just may be a little nugget of information
Oh, for
and how
real.
appreciative they are that somebody took interest in them,
For sure.
you know, and
Yeah.
it's huge.
I've been on the receiving end of that many times, and I
Yeah.
can tell you it is very impactful, and it makes, you know, we all get in our head and we think everybody's judging us or, you know, that we're not good enough or that we don't belong there or whatever the case may be, whatever self-doubt rolls through your head. And it's moments like that that you're like, no, it's okay. I'm all right.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, and that's, you know, and you say, you know, get in your head, that's really good non-pro advice is get out of your head.
Get out of your head. Is the number one thing I try to do when I walk in the pen. It's so hard though. So hard. Do you have a mental preparation style that you like?
For me or the non-pros?
Either, both.
Well, just the you know, it's kind of the one thing you always hear during a lesson or a coaching. Good. Good. Like, was it good?
Was it good?
Yeah.
Tell me the truth.
Yeah. But I just really want them to be encouraged right before they're going in there. Hey, don't worry about that. Like, say a lead change issue or something. Their nerves preparing. The set before they show, they're not getting that lead change, and I have half of mine is, hey, let's just not worry about that right now. Because the horse is going to forget about it when he gets in the pen and going to change leads in spite of you anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
depending on that individual, and then, make a mental note that that's something we got to work on next week, and how to prepare that horse or not worry about it or
Right.
whatever.
Do you feel like it's true that a lot of times when we're worried about something going wrong, a particular thing like a lead change going wrong, that we actually create that problem once we're in there?
Yes.
Because we think about it so much?
Yes, we owned a horse, Smart Remedy Olina. I can't remember what year it was. I was reserve, open world champion Hackamore on him. I think I was co-reserve. No, tied with Raymond that year. Zane, of course, had the bigger fence score. Anyway, that morning, I cannot get him changed leads. And I am stressed to it's the finals, and I'm just, and I said, just stop. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it again. And of course, he changed beautifully. The horse had never missed a lead change in the show pen,
Right.
So there's the proof in my pudding, And
Yeah.
I was the problem. I was tense. I was nerved up. I was wanting it right now.
Yeah.
Making my debut on the open stage, because I'd just kind of gotten out of the limited and intermediate and open only,
Pressure was on.
Oh, yeah. And I had a chance to win something. It's my horse and our horse.
Yeah.
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 And we had some other things going on at that time, but neither here nor there. But it was a very stressful time and wound up being pretty good. So,
Well, you gotta love it when good things happen when you need it the most, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So on that note, what is your mental preparation style going into the show pen?
Well, it's harder than it used to be for some reason here lately, the last couple of years. I can sure get in my head, which I think a lot of people can if they're being honest, but I just have to remind myself that I'm good enough. My horses are good enough. And I just block out the distractions, remind myself of my job, what my role is, what my responsibility is in this whole deal. Just basically stuff like that,
Right.
It's really easy for doubt to set in. Well, did you do this? You're asking yourself, did you do that? Because you've always heard, you can't leave any stone unturned.
Right.
In preparation, right?
Right.
So, well, did I ride this horse long enough last night, or did I do this? Did I do that? Whatever it may be.
Right. Yeah.
And maybe the answer is no sometimes, but it doesn't matter. It shouldn't overshadow the fact that you are good enough. Your horse is trained good enough. You deserve it too.
Right. For sure.
Yeah. Used to be,
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you first start out, good things happen in spite of you.
Yeah.
It just, you just fall into it. But like, I have a couple of favorite sayings, but one is, to whom much has been given, much is required.
That's
So
a good
now
saying.
you have this experience, you have this knowledge, you have this now, God protects the ignorant sometimes.
Yes, true.
You know, as a raft guide, these bigger rapids, you know, say Staircase Rapid on the lower South Fork of the Payette, you know, it's class 4 and high water. It's no joke,
It's
you know.
scary. Yeah.
And I took it very serious to not let people do my job so nobody fell out of my boat. I never had a swimmer in Staircase in 13 years.
Wow.
And then around the corner comes a bunch of guys from wherever, not a life jacket on, legs hanging out, and beer cans and 2 paddles. Woo, you know, and like, there you go. It's proof that God protects the ignorant, you know.
Yeah.
So to whom much has been given, much is required.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
That's very true too.
Yeah.
I feel like, I know in my journey, I just feel like the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. And the more I want to seek knowledge because of that whole thing. Like when you don't know, you just don't know and you're just going along blissfully ignorant and happy.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in a really good spot right now, you know, like with my confidence in my horses and confidence in what I've taught them. I'm actually kind of enjoying it,
Yeah.
you know.
Your horses look really good this year.
No, thank you.
Sherman.
Shermy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sherman. He's pretty cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to good things from him this weekend. So
Yeah. He's a nice horse. You've done a great job with him for sure.
I get to, well, hopefully she's Honey Voodoo and not Honey Doo Doo. So it's kind of her nickname if she's not very good. So
That's funny.
like she's ever been bad.
No, she's a nice horse too,
Oh,
for sure.
outstanding there.
Yeah. And it's always fun coming to Winnemucca. I love this show. It's pretty laid back and the facility's good and
Yep.
people are fun and
Well, it's a horse show vacation, you know.
yeah.
It's plenty of practice, plenty of opportunities to ride your horse. Pretty good camping.
And the board does a great job.
They do.
They do a great job. And Flintley just runs his butt off, keeping
Yes, he
everything
does.
rolling. That guy, he's a mover.
Yeah, that guy's not a shirker, that's for sure.
No, not at all. Good dude, for sure. Yeah. Well, do you have any closing thoughts on?
Well, just kind of my other slogan, you know, is if you're ever upset about where you are, remember where you were.
Oh, isn't that the truth?
And when I think of that, you know, from where I started to where I am, it's, you know, you can compare yourself to somebody else, you know, but I don't think you should.
No.
But if you put that into perspective, that's that
Yeah.
word I was looking for, is perspective. That's what you have to control, right?
Yeah.
I mean, from where I started to where I am, it's like, life is good.
I think it would benefit a lot of people to do more of that, to step back and witness
It'll
their
humble you a little
journey.
bit. That's right.
Yeah, like step out, be a third party witness to your own journey for a minute. And because I know I try to do that a couple times a year when I feel like I'm getting upset or concerned about my progress, and I remind myself that in the limited number of years that I've been doing this, there's been a lot of change.
Yeah.
And it's a little reassuring to move forward. So I think that's great advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's, you know, I like my hats off to the non-pros. You know, we do this as a job, day in, day out, and y'all are struggling family, you know, juggling jobs and families and
Yeah.
careers and trying to do this, you know, so yeah, lighten up on yourselves a little bit.
Yeah. Sometimes we need to remind ourselves we're doing this for fun.
Yeah.
Because I don't think this sport attracts people that do anything half-heartedly, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think that if you are gonna, I think if people that sign up to do this are probably very committed and very focused to it, and you know, we all get focused on we have to outwork the next person in order to win, but everybody's situation is different. You know,
Yeah.
everybody has different obligations, different work schedules, different family life. So
Yeah.
keeping it all in perspective and realizing that we're actually doing this for fun is probably a good idea. Yeah, for sure.
Well, they say behind every good horse trainer is a better woman And I don't think that's any less true in my case either. So,
I agree with you. Carolyn's a wonderful human, and I'm sure she helps a lot behind the scenes with managing the business, and she's very intelligent and successful in her own career.
yeah. And with
Yeah.
the new family member that we've acquired, Miss Amari,
She's adorable.
her name is officially Meador now.
Congratulations.
Been that way for a week or so now. So
Oh, wow.
the adoption is final.
She's been in your custody for
A couple years.
a couple years though, right? Yeah. That's cool that it's almost like paying it forward for you in some way, I guess, right? If
Yeah,
you were,
I suppose. You
Yeah.
know, I was adopted. And, yeah.
yeah. You don't have to answer this, and I can edit it out if you would like me to, but how did she come into your guys' life?
She's was adopted by my little brother, and they're just having troubles.
Yeah.
So they can't really take care of themselves. So the state didn't see it fit for them to take care of a child, and she'd been passed around like mother, brother, and here and there. And it kind of chose us. You know, it's not like we were seeking this at our age, but it chose us, and we embraced it.
And she's such a cute kid.
Yeah, we can't look back now.
How old is she?
She's 9,
9.
but now I can legally spank her.
Exactly.
I had signed a piece. I threaten her with that every now and then.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
I signed a piece of paper that said I would never spank her. You know.
She's always running around here at the horse shows, and she's
Yeah.
a pretty cute kid.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to get into much trouble. I don't think she'll be needing any spankings.
Yeah, I sure got my fair share, but I don't ever. I don't think I could.
No, yeah. She's pretty cute. It'd be pretty tough. Well, I think it's a very cool thing you guys did, and she's a beautiful, happy young lady. So congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I love hearing that it's official.
Yeah,
Yeah.
here we are.
Yes, how times change. Yes.
Never saw myself as a parent. Wow.
I'm a grandma now. How do you think that feels?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
imagine.
It's great, actually.
Yeah. Well, it checked off another box for my mother, so I went to school, made her a grandmother. So
There you go.
You know, yeah, I didn't go become a doctor. I didn't give her that kind of grandchild, but
That's all right.
take what you can get.
You're still checking those boxes off.
Checking them boxes. Yeah.
Well, Jeremy, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Oh.
I know you're a busy guy.
Thank you.
And we all appreciate sharing your story and your knowledge and history. If somebody would like to reach out to you for potential training or anything, how would they go about finding you?
Just the old interweb,
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Jeremy Meador, Performance Horses.
Nice.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
probably. I think I have a website. I don't know. I think we're still paying for it, but
I know you have a Facebook page. I don't know about a website.
I do have a Facebook page
Yeah.
for sure. Yep.
Not
People
yeah.
even use websites anymore.
It's not as common as it once was,
Yeah.
but yeah.
The Facebook's pretty easy.
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook,
Yeah.
like all those things have kind of taken over. Yeah. But hey, that's all right as long as people can find you, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, again, I appreciate you being here and good luck this weekend.
Well, thank you. Good luck to you.
Yeah. I'm just doing a paid practice on my futurity horse. So,
Well.
I could still use the look, though.
There you
I'm
go.
not denying it.
Well,
I'll
hopefully
take
it all goes the right way.
Yeah, exactly.
Positive experience.
Positive. That's my only goal. Just quiet and positive this
Yep.
weekend. Yes, for both of us.
Perfect.
Yes. Well, thanks, guys, for riding along. And don't forget, use more leg.